Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. So in this video we're going to be doing stage 34 of the latest SBR, which is the Universe 6 category. So this is what seems to be a completely new stage. It's not really a copy of any of the previous stages, and we have a limited category very similar to representatives of Universe 7 category. So you're gonna need to either think around some of these things or be a bit creative with the free-to-play units. There are two decent free-to-play options and two World Tournament options that you can use. There's the Int Caulifla and the Tech Kale from the World Tournament. They don't have their awakenings yet, but they should be okay if you have a couple dupes in them. And then there is the Strength Caulifla and the Int Kale. Obviously with those units you're going to want to max them out. If they're free to play, you're going to want to stick orbs in them, you're going to want to put equipment on them, you're going to want to float them. But they can fill up at least one or two slots in your team. They are somewhat okay. Then obviously my main options for the team are the Easy Aid, Agility Caulifla and the Physical Kale, and then I use the Tech Caulifla and the Strength Kale on another rotation. The Strength Kale and the Tech Caulifla rotation is probably one of the best rotations in the game from a defensive standpoint. Tech Caulifla can't actually be hit by attacks on a team like this, just simply due to the amount of evasion she has. She literally cannot be hit. She has, I think in total she has 90% evasion or something like that, which is pretty nuts. And then Strength Kale has guard and stacks defense and attack, same as Caulifla. They both start doing additional super attacks. They're both pretty nuts in general, so definitely a solid rotation to use in terms of getting the job done. And in this Agility Caulifla and the Physical Kale, I have a copy of each. I have two dupes in each. I use the wish strips from the download celebration to just make certain that both were at two dupes. Very good units, especially the Agility Caulifla. Her high chance to evade, her medium chance to counter, and her stacking defense make her really good, really viable. And then obviously I have the lead Kefla. I have the lead Kefla, but you can use the hit as the lead as well. So there are a little bit of options there. Hit is infinitely a worse lead than Kefla. At 55%, Kefla is the much better option, but if you only have hit, or if you have hit with a couple more dupes, I can suggest taking him. I might do a run using hit just to kind of display that he is useful in this SBR. If you float him and make certain that he's stunning or lowering the attack of the units that are basically hitting him, he should be okay to handle this stage. So yeah, those are your two options in terms of lead. Like I say, it's quite limited. There's no real pure Saiyans lead or something that you can just kind of throw in there to make things work. There is the 50% support Cabba that you can use, the strength support Cabba, which will be a really good pairing with Kefla. If possible, obviously try and take a Kefla that's got more than a single copy. Unfortunately, I couldn't find one at the time, but I'm sure there's plenty out there. And then just kind of proceed through the stage. The Agility Caulifla and the Physical Kale are basically one rotation, and the Tech Caulifla and the Strength Kale are another rotation. That's as easy as this kind of fight gets, simply because of how strong they are after their easy air, and just obviously how good the Keflas run as floaters. I do have the LR, Kefla and Caulifla and Kale, but I refrain from using them simply because one, they are exceptionally good in the stage, but the thing is, I don't really want to kind of have them. They do a lot of heavy lifting as an LR and SBRs. The way they just do multiple attacks against, say, enemies, but just the damage and the defense they output, the evasion they bring. It is quite difficult to keep a kind of player-friendly look at things when your LR is doing 99% of the work, unless it's a specific tactic, like obviously the way that you abuse the ability of having a Goku Frieza as a friend, for example. Due to the fact that they're not a lead for the category, they're a joint forces lead, I refrain from using them just simply because it's not going to result in a fair appearance or a way to evaluate the stage. The support, Vardos, is okay here. She's not really the greatest support, just simply due to the fact that she's doing like Realm of the Gods category and stuff like that, and some of these cards, most of them don't actually have that category. But she does support them somewhat quite a bit, and her ceiling, attack lowering, and her evasion in itself is obviously super helpful. It's important to keep in mind, obviously, that physical Kale, she loses her defense reduction after 7 turns, but you can get it back with a whole bunch of orbs. Most of these fights won't last beyond the 7 turn point. If they do, it's obviously a bit of a problem, but by then you should be at the stage where you can control the fight well enough that Kale doesn't really cost. This fight right here kind of shows off the agility Caulifla quite well. You can see all of her evasion kicking in. You can see how her defense rose after taking all that damage in the first place. Kale's great. I mean, seeing 1.8 million attack stats on average each attack without like any support or anything, pretty much. She's got a decent linking partner in Caulifla, and she's just firing off 1 or 2 of them, and she's really doing some good work. Is impressive. I would definitely say you're going to want to build crit on that physical Kale, and similarly I would build additionals on that agility Caulifla. She is super effective against her type while a Kale is next to her, and she stacks her defense for 6 turns, so it is important that you kind of stack that defense, especially with these type of things. If she can get 1 or 2 supers off, all of a sudden she's going to be looking in a much better position. As you can see here, I'm just kind of deciding exactly what I want to go for here. I'm not too worried about the first 2 units. It's essentially just deciding whether the Kefla unit can handle the smoke at the end. In terms of Kefla, if I had a friend with 100%, definitely would not be too concerned about her taking damage. At 55% she has decent defense as well, but just the card in general needs some orbs to activate its full evasion suite of abilities, which would be super helpful, and I just couldn't get the 6 orbs there. But as you can see, we have the super impressive strength Kale. She's also just shucking out decent attack stats. I mean, people look at 3 millions and 4 millions, but if you're getting 2 1.8 millions or 3 1.8 millions, like in that situation, on a regular basis, it is still very impressive, especially when she's stacking her defense and she's got guard, so she is already coming across as a super defensive wall of a unit. So yeah, as you can see, you quite easily took out some of the units here. Not too concerned about this. Probably pop a bit of a heal, possibly. We got 140k defense on that Caulifla, so she won't take that much damage. We regain a lot of health there, and we're gonna have Kale do some damage, and I think you even see me just go for it here. It's a bit of a gamble, but the evasion really helps, and then she's now gonna stack her defense. Kale won't get us killed, and I trust Vardos to kind of deliver at the back there. There you go, Kale's 1.8 mil, really impressive. Boom. Don't think Kale is actually supported by Vardos. I think Vardos is Yeah, I don't actually think Kale was supported by Varus. I have to double check afterwards, but yeah. Varus, again, not really like the greatest support for this category. She's great for Realm of the Gods units like Beerus and Whis and Champa. But yeah. And then again, we just go back to this essentially indestructible lineup here. So it's always impressive. You can see I'm just kind of going through the motions. Letting that careful at the end tank the attacks could be a problem, especially since I didn't get a full suite of orbs. But she'll be able to take them out, especially if we get some crits. We should be A-okay. The Kefla unit really does just get more and more powerful as the fight goes on. So it's really just one of those things where, I mean, look at this Kale. Absolutely nuts as a card. So yeah. So this fight, I mean, those two units, the Tech Caulifla and the Strength Kale, are doing so much heavy lifting. The Agility Caulifla and the Physical Kale are also just really not letting us down. It's just really one of those fights where like these units as rotations are just able to sit and just take so much damage and so much things thrown at them that they just pull through, and you kind of just you know, can accept these type of things. You can see I put the Kale as the first option, just she has the highest attack stat overall, so she's not really going to do a crazy amount of damage because she's more of like an additional attack kind of person. It's unfortunate. This is where, in terms of Dokkan attacks, this is where having some of those, like if you had a lot of dupes in Kefla, for example, and you could get 6 orbs, and she could bust out like a 3 mil attack stat or a 3.5 mil attack stat, or you had the LR Caulifla and Kale. So yeah, if you have those kind of LRs and that, and you do one of these Dokkan attacks, you're gonna do a lot more damage, which is gonna help you a lot these end stages. Like you see Movie Gohan do a Dokkan attack. The latest LR, you do see him do a Dokkan attack in the Movie Hero stage, and he'll just absolutely shred the entire opposition. So yeah, just keep that in mind, that sometimes having these lower attack stat units that rely on additionaling or critting or just can't do their damage over time because they're more defensively minded, are going to cost you when it comes to the Dokkan attack. But it's not really too much of a trade-off, especially in this situation where these units are just so incredibly like resolute and just able to do so much heavy lifting. I mean, yeah, you can just see here yeah, how much damage they're doing and just all the good work that they're doing. But yeah, overall this is the 4th SBR now, so having been through a couple of them, I will say that they are not too difficult. Again, similarly to the Wicked Bloodlines one, I don't think they were optimized for, you know, the link leveling update and all of that. And as global players, we always end up getting kind of an out of whack schedule. You know, I think we got these a little bit late, and then we got some other units that we, you know, probably shouldn't have that do help us with these type of stages. Not this one specifically, but you know, like the EZA for, well, yeah, the EZA for agility, Caulifla, and physical Kale does help, arriving before this instead of after, and all those sort of things. So yeah, just stuff to keep in mind. But yeah, I mean, they're still fun, they're still great. They'll be a great challenge to people who are running like teams with 1 dupes and cards or lacking a couple of units. I mean, I'm very fortunate again that I have quite optimized teams for this. You'll see in the Vegeta family video that when I don't have an optimized team, the entire dynamic changes. It becomes a bit more tactical. Still get dub, but yeah, yeah, it's definitely definitely a nice level of challenge to these, but I wouldn't say that they're not extreme SBRs or anything. Also, extreme SBR has put normal SBR into a little bit of perspective. So people are just kind of handling things better, understanding things better, being a bit smarter about how they play, which is all good. It all works out in the end. But yeah, so this will be pretty much the stage. You'll start seeing the Cauliflas really wear down the Swees. In terms of these two-man fights, when you don't have any utility like this, you're really going to want to have your Dokkan attack. You're going to want to have quite a few items saved up. I would say you are going to want hopefully at least 3 or 4 items going into the stage. But yeah, it does help when, you know, your cards can't get hit or can't take damage like Kale. Essentially just, you know, pacifying an entire rotation. So yeah, but pretty straightforward, pretty good. Nice stage, nice team construct. There's a few free-to-play options for this. There's also tech cover, I guess. But yeah, you're really going to need the hit, or you're going to need the Kefla as a lead. And yeah, I would say if you have the strength and the tech, the strength KO and the tech Caulifla, you're probably a good chunk of the way to getting the stage done. But yeah, thanks guys, and thanks for watching the video. This is the 4th one done, so you should see a couple more videos coming up today. And yeah, hope this helps, and cheers, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.